All right, we're using the belt sander. This has the sanding, the sanding belt, the sandpaper in a big belt that goes around and a big powerful motor that spins it. And we'll use it to remove a lot of sawdust. You can use this to cut the corners off on your board. Sandpaper is a cutting tool, and we're gonna use this on our cutting board to round the corners so it fits kind of nicely in your hand. And I'll show you how to do that. Main thing with the belt sander, don't get your fingers on the sandpaper. That's actually, so far this year, is the worst accident that we had. Somebody sanded their fingers a tiny bit and they needed to get a Band-Aid. But in the past, we named this big old belt sander that's probably 30 or 40 or even 50 years old. We named it Brutus, which means kind of strong and stupid, I guess. I don't know. Is a nickname that they had. And somebody actually got their fingers caught between the table and in here, and it pulled their fingers down into this pinch point, and it sanded their fingers off until it was small enough to pull them out. And then they looked, and you could see the little tips of the white bone, and then blood came around, and it was bad. So we put this safety table on here. It's a zero clearance, so it's really hard to do that. But that is still what you want to watch out for. That's the main thing. You want to have safety glasses. This kicks up a lot of dust, and we want to make sure that we don't sand around over here onto the edge, because that can create a hook on your board and might get the edge of the board. It's going to remove wood, and it could create a little hook where it could come behind. Now this is a big loop of sandpaper, and it's glued together. There's a seam that goes diagonally across this. If you ever turn this on and you hear tick, 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 it's because that glue that's gluing these pieces together is starting to tear, and this can come out and belt slap you. I've had that happen before, probably 10 times, happens about once a year, where it's going and somebody's pushing too hard and that little tear catches on their board, because you're going to be pushing your board into the sandpaper, and that belt sander hooks on here, and the bottom of the belt sander keeps spinning around, and the top of it stays here, and it comes around, and then it shoots out of here and goes whoosh, and nobody's hurt in the process, but it's kind of scary. Not yet, okay? So this is hooked up to the motor. We don't use the disc part because it's really hard to change the disc, and everybody ends up messing up their board on this corner here, so just ignore that piece, and I'll show you how this works. So when we're using it, we want the dust collector on. This creates the most fine sawdust in the shop, and this comes up, and you don't want to inhale it. So we're going to turn the dust collector on so it sucks down. You can see right here, look at all that nice sawdust. Okay, hey, I'm here. You're back. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead, and I'm going to show you how to move your board, holding it flat here, back and forth to round over the corner of your board. And we don't want to stop in one spot. That's going to create a lot of heat. It could burn your board, and it'll ruin the sandpaper. We want to move back and forth, okay? All right, so here we go. Will you turn on the dust collector, please, Daniel? Thank you. Got my safety glasses, got my ear protection. Okay, so we open the dust gate. I'm going to turn on right here, green button. So hold this flat, my fingers are back. That's one little pass. Go like this. And then I'm going to go around and do the other corner. Okay? Off button.